Hi everybody, welcome back to Laura A Vlogs. Um I am not feeling so great, but I'm gonna try to muster up my little bit of strength and putting this video clip for you guys. Last week, I think it was Monday or Tuesday, I can't recall the day, but I put up a post on my vlog Facebook stating that I was gonna share what has been happening with me, that I've been having a UCTD flare up. And currently, as we speak, I'm still going through the flare up. I'm not doing too great, but I'm going to muster up the strength, like I mentioned before, and pretty much bring out what I've been going through. I'm a little bit tired, fatigued, and to be honest with you, but I think I could get through it. Alrighty, so this year, since the weather season here in the East Coast has been getting more and more intense, because towards the end of June, going into July in New York City, that is like the worst time of the year for us, because the weather season will go from mild to straight hell. Straight hell, because it just goes straight into really high temperatures, and it's just like staggering heat with no breeze in between. And so unfortunately, when it comes to people with us who go through UCTD, it's a challenge to get through the warmer temperatures. And I felt it coming on since the end of April, I believe, because you see, I wrote down my notes that I'm planning to tell my doctor, and then eventually, when I get scheduled to see a rheumatologist, I'm able to have the information on hand, what exactly I have to say regarding to how I've been feeling. And so I'm going to give you guys a breakdown of how I've been feeling, so you have an idea, things that maybe might help you maybe figure out how you are going through, especially with the warm weather and going through your flare-ups, and maybe pinpoint maybe certain things you might not realize you might have. Okay, so don't take it by like, oh, Laura has it, I have it too. But just give yourself that chance to think about what exactly is causing certain flare-ups, and maybe you might not know. And maybe by you seeing my story, at least you have an idea, okay, I remember going through this situation, and then noting it down, okay, when it comes to different flare-ups. Now, I'm going to say is this. It has been harder. Each year has been very hard because, and as you can see, I'm having a difficult time breathing. I've been diagnosed with UCTD since 2018. Okay. And unfortunately, I had overcame at least the summer period in that year of 2019. It was hard. It was really hard. But then when pandemic happened, I pretty much was confined in my home until, I would say, pretty much like on and off 2021 into 2022. Because of course I was going through the whole process with a lot of the ailments after having COVID and then breast cancer. I was in and out, but not to the staggering period of me being outside full time with, having a job that I have to commute with a lot of people. So it was a very different time. So the flare-ups wasn't as intense until summer of 2022. And then from there, I noticed that my body was not handling the changes very well because one, I was going through a lot of stress, and I'm still am, but now it's become a little bit more manageable because, once you start going into therapy, like me, I'm in therapy, so I'm able to manage my feelings a little bit better. But it still doesn't subside the rest of my body, what I'm going through physically. So this is where I'm going to give you guys a breakdown, how I've been feeling physically. So like I was going to say, at the end of April, I was experiencing a lot of chest pains. It was kind of hard because I didn't know what exactly was coming from with those chest pains. And then the chest pains, then it coincided with my elevation of my blood pressure. A lot of you, in case you're seeing this video, I suffer with high blood pressure. I do have hypertension. So I have to take medication every single day. And at the time when I started noticing those chest pains coming more frequently, and I do have a blood pressure monitor, so I was able to take my blood pressure reading, and it was showing 142/99. I was like, okay, I'm borderline to having a heart attack. So I was trying to relax. I was taking my medication. I was just trying to cut down everything that I can do not to aggravate my body. So meaning like I have to change my diet and cut down certain things that I'm not supposed to eat. Because after all, I'm still human. I'm not going to say I'm perfect in eating, in the eating department. So I was able to minimize a little bit those problems in that area. And as you can see, I got a nose as red as a freaking, I feel like I'm Rudolph. And then after that, then we trickle into May. So then I started noticing I was getting like red patches in my hands. I mean, I don't have it today. I had it on Sunday when I was traveling last week. So I noticed I was getting like little patches. Usually I would get them here. I'm going to insert a picture so you guys, I will put it on the side. I would get patches here, like different parts of the hand. Sometimes I get little patches of red, like blood red. And I always thought it was kind of weird when that happens. So I knew it was like a symptoms of Raynaud's. And then and unfortunately, I was also experiencing, since the weather has started getting warmer, the temperatures are starting to rise, I was also getting symptoms of like that red rash, like when people have lupus, that you get a little bit of sun on your skin. It's not a sunburn that I get red rashes throughout my part of my legs. And I was starting to experience it. So I knew, okay, I'm getting close to a flare up. And when I start seeing all these things happening, one after the other, I'm just like, oh, the worst part is going to keep coming. And it's not one of those things that I really enjoy to go through. So, so when I saw that, I took a picture of it, but I'm not going to share that picture because it gets better. It gets better for me. Then I started getting my fingertips. I get a lot of pain on my fingertips. I don't know if you guys experience that, but the pain on my fingertips is so bad that now my nails are coming off my bed, like my nail bed. Let me see if I could put it up. If not, I will do is see there? This is where my nails are starting to lift from my, and then let me see. I'm not trying to flip the bird, but I'm going to try my best. It's like it doesn't, I'm going to put a picture, but I'm not trying to flip anybody, I promise you. But my nails are starting to lift from my nail bed, and I'm experiencing a lot of pain on my fingertips. It's been rough because I have a hard time typing, and I have to type. You know, if I'm at work, I have to type. I have to send emails. I have to send texts. I have to reach out to, you know, my clients. And if I'm in a lot of pain, typing will become almost impossible for me. And so, you know, I go through it. You know, I go through that point in my life. I'm like, Jesus Christ, this is not getting any better. And then I just try to like take it easy. I try to stay calm, because if I let myself get more and more agitated, then I'm afraid that the flare up is going to get worse, you know? So that's also another part, is learning to stay calm, because after all, I'm Puerto Rican. I have a hot temper, but I also have to learn is just to pace myself, and it's not easy to do that. Am I dying now? I'm not planning to go anywhere. I am just continuously fighting for my life right now. So then when we go into June, I've been feeling a lot of weakness in my body. I've been feeling a lot of weakness, a lot of lethargy. It's been really rough. All I can say is that, you know, it's been difficult to work. Sometimes I will feel like I can't walk after a while. And my commute is not a short commute, so I have to really be very careful how I travel through the subway system, and making sure that I get to work or home safely, especially when I'm on my own. So I just like, okay, I pace myself. I will text my son and say, hey, I'm heading home, just letting you know. I'll see you in a little while. So at least he knows that I'm heading home. God forbid anything were to happen that I don't make it home, then will try to find me somehow. So it's one of those things that, yeah, it's always been like a buddy system that I do with my sons, just to make sure they know, because I do have a history of passing out. And when that happens, I have to be really careful. So I try not to let myself get stressed out too bad, you know. So like I said, I'm learning how to pace myself as best as I can. So a lot of times I will feel my weakness in my body. I feel my legs feel weak, like I can't stand long periods of time. I will feel like hot and cold temperatures throughout my body. Like 1 minute I'm hot, next minute I'm cold. So I know something's going on internally. Like there's something happening in my body internally. So I know something is not right. And then like, I think there was a point that I was trying to eat to see if I was going to feel better. But then I felt myself like my body was about to shut down. And when that happens, I have to be really, really careful because of the fact that, like I said, I have a history of passing out. So when I get like that, I have to be really careful not to let my body get carried away. So I'll try to focus on something that I can do. And that's a little hard, but you know, it works for me. And then like when I know there's something like if I'm going through something viral, which it happened to me last week, I was at work and unfortunately I was in the midst of saying goodbye to a lot of the people that I know that they were leaving, and then I had a new group of people coming in saying hello, and during the midst of it my body was going through it felt like a viral bacteria that must have happened in my body, but I felt like if I was loopy and like lightheaded, like I could not focus for the life of me what I was doing. I didn't know who was coming, who was going. My boss is like, okay, I see you, Laura, I see you tomorrow. And I was like, hi, how you doing? How you doing? And she's like, no, I'm leaving. And I'm like, oh, okay, see you tomorrow. But she looked at me, but not realizing that I was not well. And it was like I was in a very confusing state. And I was just like, okay, Laura, you got to get yourself together, you know? And then one of my clients, he came in and he looked at me. He's like, wow, Laura, you look like shit. Are you okay? And he could tell right off the bat because he knows I'm usually very alert and very chatty. And I was just like, my face just dropped. Like the way I look right now, like it just like, I look like I was struggling for my life. And I was like, I'm not feeling well. I'm in a flare up right now, but I'm trying to get through it. And I was just like dying to pass out. And I was just like practically like saying my prayers in my seat. And I'm like, oh God, let me get through the shift, you know, let me get through the shift because, you know, I'm very responsible when it comes to certain things that I have to do. And especially if I don't have anybody to turn around and say, I have to go home or I have to call my family. You know, I don't have a backup when it comes to people to work with, you know, so I'm on my own. So I had to focus, like to try to get better, get through it. And so it was really, really rough that day because it almost felt like if I was in a drunk state. Like, even though I didn't have any alcohol, I don't use drugs, I don't smoke. But when I get those flare-ups get really intense, it's almost like you become like in a drunk state. And for me, that's how it happens to me. And it's really, really scary for me because I don't know if I'm going to be okay, if I'm not going to be okay, what's going to happen next, you know? So it was like really hard for me to focus the whole time. And then, so let me see. Luckily, the shift was like short, but it felt like an eternity. So the next day in June, like I felt like a cold, like I had like a cold coming on. And I started experiencing laryngitis. Like I was getting like sore throat. Like I wasn't feeling well. But it didn't linger as long as I thought it was going to linger. And I don't know if a lot of you experience a lot of coughing fits because I do suffer a lot of coughing fits. Like a lot of times I could be fine 1 minute, and next thing you know, I'm just coughing and coughing like nonstop, and I'm not sure how to go about it. So I have to be carrying like Halls. I have to bring my water bottle. I have to make sure that I stay hydrated, and just to keep myself from, feeling like dry. And so that what keeps me going, at least to not cough tremendously like I will normally do, especially on days that I don't want people to think, oh my gosh, she got COVID too. So last week I had went away. I went away. For my birthday weekend, I decided to fly and meet my family and spend, a few days with them, enjoying some family time. And I try to keep myself, because since I know I'm going to be in the country air, getting a lot of sun, I kept putting on sunscreen, my legs, my face, thinking that I was going to stay safe. It didn't. Unfortunately, I felt like it wasn't working. I felt the sunscreen was not working. So that heat rash that I experienced in May happened again. It first started like from my ankle to my feet. The heat rash popped up on Saturday, past Saturday. I think it was the Saturday, the 21st. And I was just like, great, it's happening again. And so I just said, okay. The next day, since I had to go out again, we planned to go to Ontario in Canada. I said, well, I'm not going to wear shorts this time. I'm going to wear longer pants so I won't get as much sun exposure, because I was kind of concerned about that. So I said, okay, I'm going to play it safe. I'm going to add a lot of sunscreen on my arms, because my arms got red, but not as bad as my legs. So sure enough, I did that. Next thing you know, I didn't think that the temperatures were going to hit so high. It hit 95. And I was like near the Niagara Falls in Canadian side. So that walk broke me down to the point that I could not function for the life of me. I could not function at all. I felt my body breaking down. I felt very weak, very lethargic. I did stay hydrated. Luckily my son was with me. He was just keeping an eye on me, because once the sun starts hitting me and my body starts to break down, I walk like I'm drunk and I start getting clumsy. And so I tend to trip. So I have to be really careful when I walk, because once those flare-ups starts kicking in, I just feel a little loopy and I don't function very well. And then I felt very weak at the same time. And then so my stability in the walking was really hard. So he had to pretty much walk with me to make sure that I stay safe, and yeah. So we went indoors, try to cool down. It helped a little bit, but then we had to go back out because eventually we had to go to the car. But it was really hard. It was really, really hard. My joints, my knees, my elbows, everything was hurting me. Everything was hurting me. So I knew something, again, part of the flare up. I knew something was not well. I knew things were not the way it's supposed to be. So my brother-in-law was like, okay, sis, we're gonna try to walk it. We're gonna walk to the car. Just let's pace ourselves. We'll be fine. We're gonna get there. And I try to stay as focused as I can to get to the car. We were able to manage to get to the car. I sat down. He was able to put the AC, so I was able to at least try to relax. When eventually at the course of the night, the course of the afternoon, he did was like, we had dinner at their house. Then he brought me back to the hotel. And when I took off my clothes to shower, my legs were red from the top of my thigh all the way down to my feet. It was red. And I'm going to insert a picture here so you guys can see how bad. And it's not in just one leg. It was both legs that it was just like red. Like if I went to the sun and did, to the beach, laid on the beach and laid down a whole freaking day. And I wasn't even wearing shorts. And it was rash. And then little patches of white. It was really weird. So I knew that was like bad. So I took a picture of that. I said, no, I'm going to definitely keep that with me. And then the next day, which was this week, I was flying back home. And I knew that I was coming down with something. Because after all, I had a family member who gave us his nasty little cold. And I knew I was going to get it again. I was like, shoot. So that's why you see me like this. Like I'm grabbing tissues constantly because I kept getting coughing phlegm, like clear phlegm. I was coughing. And I'm like, shit, I feel like I'm going to catch something. Sure enough, today is Thursday. I'm filming this Thursday, June 26th. Yesterday I woke up with laryngitis and chest congestion. Today I woke up with like runny nose, congestion. So yeah, I'm doing fantastic today. I'm doing just fantastic. But am I going anywhere? No. I'm going to keep fighting. I'm going to keep fighting with this. But my knees were swollen on Wednesday. It was red. I also had a low-grade fever, so I knew I was not well. And this is why, I went to work today because I had nobody to cover my shift. But I'm going to plan to rest for the next couple of days. I'm going to keep jotting down as much stuff that I'm going through. But this is a snippet of what I've been going through since the end of April. When I was coming home from the airport, I decided to do was make an appointment to see my doctor. Because after all, I need to get a referral to see the rheumatologist since it's been years since I saw a rheumatologist. So I'm going to start ground zero again and see who I'm going to have as a doctor and play catch up. Because like I mentioned, last year I was not feeling well last year. At first it was the vitamin D, but thinking about it closely, because since I was not well, it led me to believe that the flare-ups that I was experiencing even in Miami was affecting me big time too. And I cannot keep going through what I've been going through the last couple of years. Because everybody's having a wonderful summer, and every time the summer weather comes upon me, it's just like I'm almost dying in front of you guys, and it makes it really, really difficult for me. I mean, it's really difficult for me to even function on my everyday life. It's becoming a problem for me, and I cannot live like this. Like, I have to be struggling, and something has to give. Even if I have to sit down and give them a bunch of blood tests just to figure out where am I at now. Am I still under UCTD, or I'm coming out of remission and going into a full illness, and my gut is saying lupus already is upon me, because I have family members that one of my aunts that died with lupus, but she lived a full life. And with the things that I've been going through, it feels like if I'm having bigger symptoms of lupus, and that's my gut feeling, not being formally diagnosed, but it's just everything is pointing that way for me. But maybe, hopefully getting the blood test and and getting checked out thoroughly might be a different answer. But it's been really, really rough, and hopefully find some real answers of why am I experiencing this worse this year and last year. And I'm not scared. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not scared of getting worse, but I'd rather have the answers than just sitting here and going through the process of feeling worse each year and not knowing why. It's really important for me just to work on getting better and manage my illness than just live blindly and not having answers to why this stuff is happening to my body. So all I have to do is just focus on the next steps, and the next step is I'm gonna shower and get some rest and then focus on the next thing that I need to do. So my appointment with my doctor is on Monday, July 7th. So I already scheduled it, and hopefully go on to the next step that I need to do. But I really need to get the answers done. I need to really figure out what's going to happen next, because I can't be like this. This is not this is not who I am. And as you can see, I'm struggling, just the breathing part. But it is what it is right now. It is what it is. Anyway, so this is my rundown. I know I talked a lot and I seem like I'm a little bit all over the place, but at least let you guys know this is what I'm going through. And if any of you are experiencing any of the symptoms, or what kind of flare-ups are you going through during the summer season, I would like to know, because it also helps me understand maybe certain things that maybe I'm not seeing clearly, and just try to get through it as a community, because really I know it's not easy. I'm the living proof of it. Alrighty, so I'm gonna end this video now. If you're new to the channel, you are very much welcome to subscribe. If you have UCTD, this is my story, and unfortunately this is the update of my flare up for summer 2025. And yeah, we'll get through it somehow. Alrighty, so thank you again for viewing my content, and I'll catch you guys soon on the next vlog. Bye.